guys, welcome back to Loft Sports. I'm Tyler.
I'm Seth.
Today we're going to be coming at you with our 2019 college football Heisman hopefuls.
Yep.
We're going to give you our top 5 candidates and maybe a few dark horses that you might not think right off the top. But so that's our video today. Like us on Facebook, subscribe to our channel on YouTube, comment with video recommendations you would like to see, and as always, trash talk is welcome. Okay, so let's go ahead and rank our Heisman hopefuls 5 through 1, starting with number 5. I've got Herbert from Oregon. I think the Ducks are in line for a special season. If you watched our New Year's 6 bowl preview, I have Oregon in the college football playoff. If they do get that far, or even if they just win the Pac-12, he's going to be on the short list, maybe even headed to New York. I think he's got a real chance. I got him at number 5.
I actually have him as number 5 as well. I think they're going to have a good year. But let's be honest, the Pac-12 is not known for its defenses. A couple teams maybe, but that's a league you can put up big numbers in. We've seen it. I do think one thing that'll hurt him is the fact that he's on the West Coast, and most of the Heisman voters are on the East Coast. And there's always been kind of a West Coast bias there with the Heisman, so I don't know if he'll potentially go higher. I think he's going to have a great year. Oregon will have a really good year as well, but I got him finishing 5th in the race.
My number 4 is the quarterback at Texas, Sam Ehlinger. I like this dude. He's got some moxie. He's got some grit. He fits the bill there at Texas. And I think that college football would love to have a Longhorn quarterback back in the discussion, trying to rekindle some fires of about a decade ago when you had Colt McCoy and Vince Young in that boat. It's just it's a blue blood program. When Texas is good, it kind of feels right with college football. They're just one of those teams. I think Texas is going to win the Big 12. I think they're going to beat Oklahoma twice. If that holds true, he's got to be in the discussion.
My number 4, I got Jonathan Taylor. As much as I, as a Nebraska fan, hate to admit that, his numbers are going to be absurd. His career numbers are pushing absurd numbers right now. I mean, he's their whole offense pretty much. It's going to be built around him. His numbers alone should get him to New York in that conversation. It's hard for a non-quarterback to win this award, so I don't know if he'll factor in the top 3, but I got him at number 4.
I got him at number 3, Jonathan Taylor. I mean, I don't want to have just 5 quarterbacks because I hate that about the award.
Yep.
It shouldn't be the best quarterback.
It should just be the best player.
That's right. And I wish there was more parity than that, but I feel like I owe it to the other position players to at least have one non-quarterback, and he's probably the best of the non-quarterbacks coming into the season. Wisconsin add to the long list of great running backs there prior to him. They're going to play leaning on him the whole way. I think Wisconsin's going to have a pretty decent year. I don't think they'll be elite, but they could win the West. They could potentially have an outside chance at winning the Big Ten. I think Taylor will be a large part of that.
Absolutely. My number 3 is probably, it could be a surprise, but Jalen Hurts at Oklahoma. I mean, my goodness, the last 2 quarterbacks to play there have won the Heisman. It's hard for me to just say a guy who's won so many games as him to just be completely out of the race. Now, it'll take Oklahoma to have a big year for that, but they don't need to necessarily win the Big 12 and go to a playoff for him to factor in the top 3 conversation there. The quarterback at Oklahoma will always put up big numbers. It's in the Big 12 where no defense is played at all. His numbers will be there. He'll be in the discussion. Oklahoma will have a good enough year. I like him at 3rd.
My number 2 is Tua from Alabama. This dude is a great quarterback. Last year had a little bit of struggles at the end of the season. The SEC championship game had to get benched for Jalen Hurts to come in. Struggled against Clemson. But given the opposition they were playing, I think that's very forgivable. I think he's going to have a bounce-back year. I think that looking over his shoulder at Jalen Hurts behind him is gone. It's his team now. There's no backup plan. He's going to take the reins. And this offense was putting up ridiculous numbers last year with him. He wasn't even playing in the 4th quarter for most of these games. I think he's going to have a big year. I think he'll be in New York when it's all said and done.
Real quick, try to say his last name.
Tua Tagovailoa.
Oh, nice. Yeah, she did it right.
I have to say his first name to be able to say his last name.
I was doing the same thing in my head. But yeah, I got him at number 2 as well. It is what it is. Alabama, great program. Their quarterback's always going to put up numbers and wins to be in the conversation. he does bring a different element than some of the other ones have. He's got some of that Manziel, Baker Mayfield, that improvisation that can produce those signature moments in big games, the Heisman moments, as they say. I do agree with you. There's no Jalen Hurts. There's no quarterback battle. It is his team. It's his offense. And I think just that confidence from the coaching staff with nothing else going on, Hurts being gone, it just really helps him. I got him finishing second in it.
My number one, this shouldn't come as a surprise to anybody. It's probably everybody's number one with maybe an exception of Tua. But Trevor Lawrence. I mean, the guy shredded some of the best defenses. Say what you want about Notre Dame and their history in big bowl games, but that defense was playing at a high level last year, and he torched them. And then he torched Alabama, and you don't see a Nick Saban defense get absolutely destroyed like he did to them in that championship game.
Even when Manziel beat him a couple times, it wasn't like that.
And he's not a running quarterback, which historically Alabama's had issues with. He's a pure pocket passer. This dude is going to make an NFL franchise very happy in a couple springs. He's the runaway favorite.
I agree with you there for a lot of reasons you said. Trevor Lawrence last year, when I saw one of his first highlights, he threw it was a post route that he threw about 45 yards on a rope, and I think I looked at you and said that's probably one of the best arms I've ever seen. He would have been the number one pick in the NFL draft, maybe even coming out of high school. I mean, let's be honest. He's super talented. I do agree. He's going to be the clear runner, the front runner, however long he stays. It's his game right now, folks. It's just his game as long as he wants to stay at Clemson before he goes off and he's the number one pick in the draft. College football is at Clemson's beck and call right now, and Trevor Lawrence's.
A couple of dark horses, and I'm just going to rattle these off here.
Yeah, go ahead.
Burrows, quarterback from LSU. If they have a big season, he could be in the mix. Kelly Bryant at Missouri. Got something to prove, chip on his shoulder. If he does some things in that division with Georgia and Florida, he could be in the running. And then last, DeAndre Swift from Georgia, probably the second best running back behind Jonathan Taylor at Wisconsin. Georgia's going to be stacked this year. I think he has a big year.
Dark horses for me, Sam Ehlinger at Texas. A lot of the same reasons you said. Not going to necessarily say much more than that. Big 12 plays no defense. Again, Texas is going to put up numbers. I like him. He's got good moxie. I like his confidence at the position. Won't spend too much more time on that. Travis Etienne at Clemson. I like the other running back. I just think he's better than Swift.
That's fair.
I think he's just got a whole nother gear, and he plays with a little bit better talent around him. Some other quarterbacks, Adrian Martinez at Nebraska. I know he's not necessarily going to finish probably top 5 or anything like that, but if Nebraska has the year I and a lot of others think they will have, he's going to be the biggest reason for that. The offense should put up a lot of numbers. And then another dark horse I'll throw out there as well is Felipe Franks at Florida, just because of Dan Mullen in that system. It's very quarterback friendly. His numbers could potentially be there to be in the conversation, but just on the fringe. But those are some of my dark horse guys.
All right. Unfortunately, we don't have any defensive players. I wish there was one defensive guy that might find his way in there. But all right. Thank you guys. Again, continue to like us on Facebook, subscribe on YouTube. This is Loft Sports. You ready?
Sorry. I'm blasting tunes instead of blasting the viewers. Alright. Blasting the viewers. Yikesy.